it's a very important tenet that as I've come to learn in building relationships. Relationships are the key to doing business in China. This isn't necessarily intuitive for us Americans. Our view is it's not personal, it's business. Practicing law for over 20 years, I can tell you that most of us lived and died in the business world by a contract. Didn't matter if I liked you. If I had a contract with you, then we were good to go. And we would always look to the courts to enforce that contract. The contracts, you know, were always the size of phone books, laid everything out, etc. My friends who practice law in this area and work with Chinese companies and the like tell me that a signed contract really in China is just the beginning of the relationship. It's sort of the starting point for your future relationship. It doesn't necessarily end the matter. And really in China, it's personal, then it becomes business in terms of those kind of lasting relationships. Concepts of mutual trust, respect, understanding, that's what you need to build with business and government leaders in China in order to have a successful relationship. If you talk to companies like Eli Lilly and Cummins, Indiana companies that have been doing business in China for 30 years, they will tell you that their success is based on the fact that they respect local traditions, they respect local culture, they've built appropriate relationships, they've nurtured those relationships, and they honor those relationships. So I would urge all of you as you consider your opportunities to develop and do business in China to honor that as well. Now I want to give you a couple of personal examples of the power of local networking. You can put up the next slide. So Wei Lin introduced me to several business and community leaders here, including Ping. And as a result of some of our conversations, Ping introduced me via email to a colleague of hers in Shanghai, who runs a company called Shanghai Genomics. And when I was there in May, I had the chance to spend over an hour with him, really picking his brain, understanding the life sciences business, what kind of businesses in China might be interested in coming to the United States, so that we could hone our efforts and learn from them. In April, I was at an event, I'll tell you a little bit more about it in a minute, but I was at an event that we helped sponsor at the Children's Museum, and I met Wei Ming, who's in the back. Wave Wei Ming, so everybody say who you are, because you're going to want to get to know that guy later. By coincidence, so we started chatting, and by coincidence, we found out we were both going to be in Shanghai at the same time in early May, and Ming's from Shanghai. Well, from my perspective, that's a phenomenal circumstance. And he was very generous with his time, but one of the things he did was introduce me to a colleague